This video explains how to sort a table object using the R programming language. So without too much talk, let's dive into the R code. In this video I will show you an example, and for this example we first need to create a data object which is called x, as you can see in the second line of code. So after running this line of code, this new data object called x is appearing at the top right. And if we print this data object to the RStudio console by running line 3 of the code, you can see that we have created a vector containing 9 different letters. Now, if we want to create a table based on these data, we can apply the table function to this vector object, as you can see in line 5 of the code. And I'm storing the output of the table function in a new table object that I'm calling myTab. So after running this line of code, this new table object called myTab is appearing at the top right, and we can print this table to the bottom in the RStudio console by running line 6 of the code. And then you can see that we have created a table based on our input vector x, which contains 5 columns, and each of these columns corresponds to a count of this letter in our input vector. So for instance, the letter A is occurring 1 time in our input vector, and the letter B is occurring twice. Now let's assume that we want to sort this table based on the count values in this table. Then we can use the order function, as you can see in line 8 of the code. So in this line of code I'm specifying the name of our table object, and then I'm using square brackets to reorder our table. And within the square brackets, I'm applying the order function to our table. And I'm storing the output of this in a new table object that I'm calling myTab sort1. So after running line 8 of the code, this new table is appearing at the top right, and we can print our updated table by running line 9 of the code. And now you can see that we have ordered our table so that the elements which occur the least often are appearing at the beginning. So the letters A and E are appearing only once in our input object x, and the character D is occurring 3 times. We could also sort our table in decreasing order, as I will show you in the next lines of code in lines 11 and 12. So the only difference of these lines of code compared to line 8 is that I'm also using the decreasing argument, and I'm setting this argument to be equal to true. So after running lines 11 and 12 of the code, another table object called mySort2 is appearing at the top right, and we can print this table object to the RStudio console by running line 13 of the code. And now you can see that this table is sorted the other way around. So the letters which occur the most often are appearing at the beginning of the table, and the letters that are occurring the least often are occurring at the right side of the table. So in the previous examples I have explained how to sort a table object based on the basic installation of the R programming language. However, it's also possible to sort a table object using the dplyr package, and this is what I want to show you in the next example of this tutorial, starting in line 15 of the code. So in lines 15 and 16 of the code, I'm first installing and loading the dplyr package. I have installed the package already, so for that reason I'm just going to load it with line 16 of the code. And after running this line of code, we can use the functions of the dplyr package, as you can see in lines 18 to 20. So in these lines of code I'm using our table object that we have created in the beginning of the tutorial. Then I'm using the as.data.frame function to convert our table to a data frame object. And then I'm using the arrange and desc functions to sort our table. And I'm storing the output of this in a new data object that I'm calling myTab sort3. So after running lines 18 to 20 of the code, you can see that another data set is appearing at the top right, which is called myTab sort3. And we can print this data set to the bottom in the RStudio console by running line 21 of the code. And then you can see that we have created a sorted table which is converted to the data frame class, which is showing the letters that occur the most often in the first row and the letters that occur the least often in the bottom rows. That's all I wanted to explain in this video. In case you want to learn more on this topic, you may check out my homepage statisticsglobe.com, because on my homepage I have recently published a tutorial in which I'm explaining the content of this video in some more detail. I will put a link to this tutorial into the description of the video so you can find it there. If you have liked this video or if you have any questions, let me know in the comments section below. I'll try to respond to all comments as soon as I can. Furthermore, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to get notified about future video releases. I have already published about 500 videos on this channel and I'm releasing new videos on a daily basis. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next video.